So there I was, spending my day, doing my thing. Yom Kippur holiday for Jews. What a wonderful day. Everyone fasts and prays, and it's the holiest day of the year. Essentially praying to God that he forgives us and forgives everyone. It's actually a day where one of the major prayers is you pray for the Jewish people, and then you pray for all of the people around the world, all of God's creations. It's a beautiful day, honestly. And then one of God's creations went and killed a couple of Jews in Manchester, England. So I made this tweet right after everything was done. Essentially, the breaking news that I got, because I was like, my phone was off for a day. I pick up my phone and then I see that, hey, look at that news. Mucho big shocker. I didn't see this one coming. That's a lie. 2 Jews were murdered in England by a radical jihadi named Mr. Jihad. So let me get you up to speed, and then I'm going to actually give you my take, and then I'm going to break this down, and then I'm going to cover how the media is evil, because the media immediately blamed this on the far right. The far right! Alright, then the Palestine protests started saying we should kill more Jews, and then, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Alright, so Asmongold reacted to this. I'm going to show you a little clip from his thing, and there's a lot to talk about, because my opinion of this is definitely not the type that you're going to see anywhere else. I'm not the type of news guy that say, yeah, this thing happened, it's bad, it's in a vacuum, we move on and hope this doesn't happen again. No. That is not the direction we take. Definitely subscribe for the only correct opinion on the internet. And if you disagree, you're wrong. Or you're right and I'm wrong. But let's be real, it's probably you. It's probably you. It's because I'm so humble, that's how I know. 4 Jews were stabbed today in Manchester, 2 were killed. The terrorist was a Free Palestine Muslim, asylum seeker, right? He's from Syria. He came to England seeking asylum. Like so many. Not legally immigrated, but seeking asylum, meaning he invades the country and then says, guys, I'm here, I need protection from Syria, Syria bad, let's try to turn your country into Syria too, but my country, Syria's bad. His name was Jihad, by the way. Why the fuck are you making someone a citizen if their name is Jihad, bro? Like, what are we doing? Anyway, he went to a synagogue, that is a Jewish temple, Jewish church, whatever you want to call it, with bombs strapped to him. But thank God he was neutralized before he was able to make this tragedy even more deadly. I'm not going to show the actual footage because it's truly gruesome and horrible. Muslim guy strapped with bombs walks into synagogue. Actually, he rams his car into synagogue, stabs 4 people, 2 die on the spot. I think 2 more are in critical condition right now, and he was gonna blow himself up, but they killed him first, because thank God someone had a gun, because guns save lives. The British government refused to release the identity or nationality of the killer for a while. This was for hours, by the way, apparently. Hours. They refused to say who it was. They just said who knows what the motive is? Who knows what the motive is? No one knows. No one knows. Just some guy rammed his car into a synagogue, stabbed a couple of Jews, yelling Free Palestine. Probably. We don't know. We don't know. It could have been anyone. Maybe it was an Israeli false flag. And the media, of course, hypothesized maybe it was far-right violence. Right? It was the Nazis. It was the Nazis. That's right. The Hitlerites came out of the grave. It obviously wasn't. Mr. Jihad was not that guy. Netflix, waiting for the Netflix documentary where they make the killer a white man. Some members of the English government issued statements about how this is such a tragedy, but it's actually Israel's fault because they're fighting a war across the world. There's a genocide. There's a genocide happening or something. I mean, this is England, right? They killed more people in Germany in one day than Israel killed in Gaza over the last 2 years. That was not a genocide. But what's happening here, that is a genocide, and therefore it's valid to kill Jews in England, apparently. All right. Keir Starmer, British Prime Minister, also professional wanker, said his heart is with the Jewish community at this difficult time. After his police literally arrested someone last week for being too visibly Jewish near a pro-Palestine march. I will show you that clip because a lot of people are not going to believe this shit. I'm going to show you that clip because you have to understand what's going on in England, etc., Europe, etc. To the pro-Palestine people are preparing jihad marches in the honor of the terrorist in England, and the government is too busy arresting people for posting memes on Facebook. Think about all the Islamophobia that'll come from this innocent man, Mr. Jihad, that murdered a couple of Jews. Think of all the backlash against innocent Muslims. The victims are yet more victims in this silent war against the West, where the media and swaths of the government are complicit. Pray for the victims and for civilization. I stand by what I said. That's right. I stand by it. Yep, absolutely. This is just me patting myself on the back for a well-worded tweet, but this is a nightmare, and it is a war on the West. And this is where I feel like a lot of the commentators get lost, because a lot of people are really quick to say, this is a bad situation, I condemn this bad situation, this is a terrorist attack, story over. You don't want to embrace a pattern, you don't want to actually look at an issue, you're just kind of like, yeah, this is a bad thing, I confirm this bad thing happened, and we are going to recognize that this is a bad thing and hope it doesn't happen again. But listen, this is just This is just me saying banger tweet man to myself. All right. I'm glad we're on the same page. So, anywho, at first I wanted to see how the media covered it afterwards. This is Fox News, because I don't want to show you British media yet. I first want to get you up to speed with what actually happened. This is Fox News coverage. It's only 2 minutes long. And then I'm going to show you what the actual media in England did immediately. Because this is a war on the West. It's a war on God. It's a war on Western culture. And I firmly believe that. And this is where I think a lot of people get lost. People are like, well, I don't want to say that there's like some sort of big situation involving many radical Islamists. I don't want to go that far. Well, I do. I fucking do. It's a war on the West. They're trying to conquer the West, and that's what they're doing. Look, man, they've been flooding the streets saying kill the Jews and kill the Christians for fucking years. And everyone's like, well, they're just a minority. They don't feel safe around the far right. Well, with all due respect, they want to kill you. They want you dead. They want to conquer you. That's what they want. It's very obvious to people that are actually willing to go out and say this stuff. But anyway, let's see how Fox News covered it.
Fox News alert. We are learning 2 people have reportedly died after a stabbing outside a UK synagogue.
So the incident coming on Yom Kippur, one of the holiest days of the year for the Jewish people.
And Greg Palcott.
I mean, it's one of the holiest days of the year. Period. I'll be real. It literally says it in the Bible. Leviticus 16:29. Look it up. Holiest day of the year. God forgives everyone's sins and stuff. It's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good day. Well, you know.
Joins us live from London with what we know. Greg?
Hey, folks. Yeah, we've been tracking this tragic story over the past couple of hours or so. A terrible killing at a synagogue on this, as you noted, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur, holiest and most solemn day, and I might add, the best attended at the synagogue. The synagogue was at the northwestern city of Manchester. It happened around 9:30 when the temple was, in fact, packed. A man drove his car into a crowd, ramming the people outside of the synagogue. He didn't make it inside of the building, but also
the plan was to go inside and blow himself up.
So apparently got out of the car and with a knife started to stab as well.
The thing, Yom Kippur, it's like, just in case you want some extra Jew lore, you'll notice a lot of people have like different style kippas, like the hats. So you could normally tell. Again, I'm not trying to profile here or anything, but normally the guys with the white puffy ones, those are taking the synagogue kippas. All right, normally it's not religious people that specifically go on Yom Kippur because it's like a super holy day or whatever, and even the non-religious people go to synagogues that day, which is why you might recognize the name Yom Kippur. It sounds a lot like Yom Kippur War. There was a war that was launched by certain neighboring countries of Israel. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure out the religion of these countries, but they launched a war on Yom Kippur. That's Jew lore, because they know it's a holy day, they know that the temples and synagogues are packed, and they know that's the best way to kill Jews. This happens all the time. In fact, October 7th, for those of you unaware, October 7th, the war that started this entire Gaza conflict, started on a Jewish holiday. Like, every single one. They all start on Jewish holidays. It's almost like it's a strategy. It's like, wait a second, let's use their religion and their values against them. It's almost like that's exactly what's happening in the entire Western world, where people are like, wait a second, I love your freedom of speech, so I am going to come into your country and use your freedom of speech to chant death to the Christians and death to the Jews, and you can't do anything about it. Until, of course, I become the majority of the country, and then we shut down freedom of speech, because Sharia law does not actually have freedom of speech. If you are not a Muslim, they will kill you, according to the Quran. It's what they say. It's what they say. I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth. Smite the kafar at the neck, they say. Kafar is a non-Muslim.
Apparently got out of the car.
Almost like it's a holy war against Jews and Christians. Almost like it's a war on the West. But I wouldn't go so far to say that. I'm just saying almost.
And with a knife started to stab as well. He left 2 people killed, 3 people injured, and eventually he was killed by police. It happened at 9:31, guys, and by 9:38 the police were at the scene and they were very busy evacuating worshipers, adding security, not just there, but at synagogues all throughout the UK. King Charles offered his condolences, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer had these words. Take a listen.
All right, so I'm going to show you the Keir Starmer words in a separate segment, so we could skip that for now, because I'm prepared. I'm going to show that one to you. I'm going to show you what he had to say, because his words are empty as fuck. His words are absolutely empty as fuck. They mean nothing. So, Keir Starmer made 2 statements. He made one statement over here, which is the one that they were about to show you on the news. And then he made a second statement that he posted directly to his personal Twitter.
The attack in Manchester this morning is absolutely shocking.
Yeah, well, it's not shocking. To be clear, it's not shocking. When you have chants of people saying Kaibar, Ya Yehud, which you hear all the time in Palestine protests, which literally means behead the Jew, it's actually not super shocking.
All of our thoughts are with those affected.
Your thoughts are not with those affected. Your thoughts are with mass migration into your nation. To be honest, this is your fault, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put blame on an individual when it's somebody else, but it's your fault too. Sorry, man. Sorry, dude. You are welcoming the invaders to your shores. Sorry, bro.
I'm on my way back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting.
Oh, a meeting.
I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country.
Oh, that's really great. That's actually really great. I'm really happy that more police officers... No, really, I am. I think it's a good thing. And it's really good. I'm sure everyone in England's so happy that their taxpayer dollars are going to pay for extra policing around synagogues to protect themselves from an issue that the government caused by literally inviting invaders into the nation that want to kill Jews and Christians. Wow, is this not weird? Is this not kind of crazy? I'm sure that this is just a win-win. It's a win-win. Pay taxes for extra security for something that you caused. Yep, go. So yeah, anyway, let's keep going.
And we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
Right. Everything except for, stopping migration of people that literally say they want you to... This guy's name, the murderer, the terrorist, his name was literally Jihad. His name was Jihad. And you brought him in and gave him citizenship. Okay, dude? You've got to, stop doing everything in our power, except for, the one thing that would save the country.
To Mark Gardner of the CST,
right,
and Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, right, and I want to thank the emergency services for the speed of their response. The attack...
Great job, emergency services. I'm actually really glad about that, too. I'm really glad you did that also. Very cool. But no, dude, President Trump warned you, and you say you're shocked? True. True. No lies. 100% true. No, this is the snake response. And Keir Starmer's, he's mega cooked. So this is Keir Starmer's actual official statement. He posted to Twitter. This was his address to the nation instead of just catching him randomly. So I'm sure what he's going to say here is going to be a lot better. Is the rumor that they're flying Palestinian refugees secret into Manchester true? I don't know about Manchester, but they did do that into England and France. Because you have to recognize, England and France recognized a Palestinian state and were directly thanked by Hamas terrorists for doing it. He is creating and setting the stage for this to happen. You have to understand. So anyway, here's what cocksucker jackass the third has to say.
Good evening.
Hi.
Earlier today, on Yom Kippur, the holiest day for the Jewish community,
right,
a vile individual committed a...
Individual. There's no systemic problem. There was just one crazy guy. Right.
Terrorist attack that attacked Jews because they are Jews.
Wow.
An attack...
It's almost like if we would have listened to the things that they were literally saying and chanting in your streets, you would have known this was going to happen. It's almost like you should know that. It's almost like rewarding Hamas, the people that say we want to execute all the Jews around the world and globalize the intifada. Right? That's another literal slogan that they cheer. And in your streets, bro, globalize the intifada. Bro, you're messing people for Facebook memes and you have people chanting in the streets, wearing masks, waving foreign flags, kill the Jews around the world? Are you insane? Bro, one crazy guy and he's making a national address because no one believed this.
Britain because of our values.
Yeah. No, it's not because of your values. It's because of the values of the Christians that created your nation. It's because of the biblical values that started all of this that they hate and want to destroy.
So many Jewish families first came to this country as a place of refuge,
right,
fleeing the greatest evil ever inflicted on a people.
The Holocaust.
And Britain welcomed them.
And notice, when the Jews immigrated, they, for the most part, integrated. All right? They integrated. If a Jew is not going to be wearing his kippah or whatever, you wouldn't know he's some Jew. You wouldn't know that because realistically, Jews basically integrated. They didn't actually start terrorist attacks in England or increase the rate of rape in your entire country. That is not a Jew thing. Interesting.
Communities like the one attacked in Manchester provided safety.
Right.
But also the security that comes from a promise.
Right.
That this is a country that stands up to hatred.
Right.
And that we don't just provide refuge, we provide a home.
You provide refuge for terrorists. This guy's name was Jihad. Can I establish that they literally gave a refuge to a man named Jihad? Bro, what are we talking about? Oh my god, you absolute pussy. It's crazy.
For so many Jewish families, that is the story of Britain.
By the way, just a message to Jewish families. Obviously, as a Jew, I feel with you. I literally cry alongside you. I promise you. I cry alongside you every step of the way. If you're Jewish and you're in Europe, move to Israel. Really hot take. Do it. Sorry. These nations lost themselves. They're cooked. Move to Israel. America doesn't need more immigrants, but Israel could always use some more Jews. So hot take, move to Israel. You're not safe. All right. This is 10 years before World War II. This is 1930 in Germany. All right, that's where we're at. Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's where we're at, dude. Like, it's very obvious. Look at who runs these countries. These countries are run by people that are chanting this shit, as I will show you. Anyway, that's the Nux Goldsteinberg opinion, but you have every right to disagree. But yep, sorry. I'll be real. Christians, you got to take your nations back. Jews, you gotta run. You gotta run, bro.
But Britain is also a country where Jewish buildings, synagogues, even schools require round-the-clock protection, where dedicated specialist security is necessary.
Just notice what happened over the last 2 weeks, all right? You got a transgender freak shooting up a Catholic school in Minnesota. You got another fucking retard murdering Mormons in a church in Michigan, all right? You got 2 stabbings in a synagogue over here, and... Like, do you understand what's going... Like, it's very obvious that it's a war on faith. It's a war on basic biblical values and faith. Again, maybe that's my perspective, but that's definitely what I'm seeing.
Necessary. Because of the daily threat of anti-Semitic hatred.
Yeah, which you are importing.
Today's horrific incident shows why.
Right.
And while this is not a new hate, this is something Jews have always lived with.
I fucking hate this. It's not my fault. People always hated Jews. It's not my fault that I'm importing people that hate Jews. People always hated Jews. Oh, come on, dude. Are you fucking retarded? Like, what are we doing? The Jew hate in the year 2025 is radically coming from specific areas. And you can't blame the Roman Empire destroyed the temple 2,000 years ago, so this was always a thing. But you literally invited a man named Jihad into your country.
We must be clear. It is a hatred that is rising once again.
Yeah.
And
thank you for celebrating by giving Hamas a Palestinian state. Good job, bro. You really showed those Jew haters.
Britain must defeat it.
Yeah.
Once again.
So deport. Start deporting, brother.
On behalf of the nation, I want to offer my condolences to the families and victims affected.
Great.
I want to thank the Greater Manchester Police.
Right.
The first responders.
What a good job.
And those dedicated security specialists.
Thank God they took that guy out.
There is no doubt whatsoever that they have prevented an even greater tragedy, and we thank them for their bravery.
Yeah.
But to every Jewish person in this country, I also want to say this.
Get out.
I know.
Dude, England is literally Tommy Robinson or bust right now.
How much fear you will be holding inside of you.
Yeah, no shit.
I really do.
I'm shocked.
And so, on behalf of our country,
right,
I express my solidarity, but also my sadness.
Right.
That you still have to live with these fears. Nobody should have to do that. Nobody. And so I promise you that I will do everything in my power to guarantee you the security that you deserve, starting with a more visible police presence protecting your community. I promise you that over the coming days, you will see the other Britain, the Britain of compassion, of decency, of love.
Yeah, we won't, and I'll tell you why not, because they literally celebrated this execution of these Jews. Yeah, that's right. There were pro-Palestine marches in honor of the guy that murdered 2 Jews in England. And you know what you did? Fucking nothing, for the record, because protesting is a human right or something. So anyway, let me catch you up to date. Let me tell you what's actually going on. So this is England. This is apparently like a year ago. I thought this happened more recently, but apparently it's a year ago. You watch this clip and get ready to lose it. This is Keir Starmer's England.
You are quite
openly Jewish.
I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm worried about the reaction. It's serious. You can go about your business, go where you like freely, or if you choose to remain...
A preach of peace? Wow.
Because your presence doesn't deal with...
Your presence is antagonizing people.
Because your presence...
Yeah, so, anyway, you are too openly Jewish. I believe, honestly, personally, I think we should start arresting people in the synagogue. We need to start arresting people in the synagogue. I'm sorry, man. We need to, immediately. You know why? The synagogue was just a little bit too openly Jewish. It was too openly Jewish. It really was. Jews need to start wearing hijabs in England, apparently. That's the only strat. That's the only way. So, anyway, the responses to Keir Starmer were good. Valentina Gomez is someone running for something in the United States. I don't really know her. She ratioed the fuck out of him. You put a terrorist Muslim as the Home Secretary. You put a terrorist Muslim in charge of stopping rapist Muslims. You put a terrorist Muslim and started stopping Sharia law. Because of you, girls are raped, and more Jews, Christians, and Hindus will tragically die because you protect these rapist Muslims. Which, I mean, is definitely on the nose, but you gotta say, shout out to my boy, my goat, Charlie Kirk, who died way too soon. Islam is the sword that the leftists will use to slit the neck of America. That's direct quote from Charlie Kirk, a man of faith, a man of God, and a man of courage. Look, I'll be real, it's a bit performative, but like, I mean, I'll be real, he did appoint Muslims that are pro-Hamas in these places. If you're a pro-Hamas guy, you're supporting terrorists, all right? It's really that simple, actually. Turning Point UK, the goats. Turning Point UK. Britain is under attack, the enemy is within. Dude, I miss Charlie Kirk so much. But, yeah, and obviously the memes, I don't feel safe in my own neighborhood. You literally voted for this. True, by the way, true. It's the liberal white women that are doing their best to import the fucking retards because of how much empathy they have. Now, Asmongold made a reaction to this whole thing. And I'll be real, I watched it, and I thought it was good. All right, I thought it was, overall, I thought it was good. I do think he's missing the boat on a couple of small issues. I feel like when it comes to specifics and individual cases, he's right. I do think he's correct when he covers nuanced, specific instances. I'll tell you where I think he's wrong. I think he misses the broad picture. So I'll just show you this one clip, because I think this clip is perfect.
Abandoned by pretty much every politician on the left that sheds crocodile tears today while spreading anti-Semitic bile month after month over the last couple of years.
Christ, why is everything so fucked? It's so frustrating to watch something like this, isn't it? Like, to me, it's so frustrating to watch this.
But I mean, why do you think?
I don't want to have, I don't want to have my government be making decisions based off of like Islam or fucking Judaism. Like, what is this? It's so weird. I'm tired of it all. Yeah, it's exhausting.
I really respect Asmongold being up front here. I'll tell you the point that I think he misses, in my opinion. I think he misses the point that there is a concerted, directed, radical, genuine, real attack on Western civilization. And I don't think he's there yet. I think when he comes to covering individual cases, he's like, it's so tiring that us, as Americans, as Western nations, that we need to sit here and see a religious terrorist attack taking place and need to discuss Judaism and Islam. Why does all this matter? Like, this is an individual instance, and I'm tired of it. The reality is, it is a concerted, direct, organized attack on Western civilization, in my opinion, and it's directly coming here with the direct purpose, the stated purpose, of conquering it. Now, I am a religious man. I believe in God, and I don't know if Asmongold is, and that's fine. I'm not here to preach or push anything down anybody's throats, but I think he's being very pragmatic for someone that doesn't say that there's a spiritual war happening over Western nations and that there's a direct war on God happening and that people are fighting. They killed Charlie Kirk for his stances on religion. They didn't kill Charlie Kirk because of his stances on radical tariffs of foreign nations. That's not why they killed him. They killed him because he believed in God and he openly spouted it. And the anti-God people that think you can contort your body and reject how God created you, those are the people that killed him. So again, in my opinion, it's a spiritual war. So it frustrates me when I see people who are rational and correct, but are just one step away from what I feel like is actually getting your finger on the pulse of the issue. And again, I don't fault him for this. Everyone has the right to their own belief system. But this is a concerted war against the West. This attack on a synagogue is just part of a massive string of attacks on Western culture, including attacks on churches, attacks on Catholic schools, attacks on Charlie Kirk, religious speakers, attacks on everybody. And dude, this is not a one-time thing on Jews. Jews are getting attacked everywhere. And you'll notice the alliance being made against the West. It's the Gaitheists and the radical Islamists that are getting together. Like, it is a group that inherently cannot possibly unite. Why are the Gaitheists allying with radical religious people that literally would execute a Gaitheist? Why? How are they allying up? Unless they have one actual enemy that unifies them. And that enemy is Western civilization based on fundamentally Christian ethics. That's my perspective. And that's why I think all these things actually fit into a pattern a lot better. And that's why I feel like a lot of people that aren't taking that stance are really frustrated by it, because it's just, it is not understandable It's not an understandable alliance that wants to destroy us, and people just aren't there. Anyway, and then, or you could just blame the Jews, I guess. That's an easy way to do it. But I don't know, but Asmongold's actually pretty based about that. He pushes back on, like, the random Jew-spiracies. Even though the woke Jews have to figure their shit out, man. The woke Jews are not helping. I'll be real. They are not helping. But anywho, let me show you how BBC News covered this, because it's absolutely diabolical.
People on the hard right, the far right, are a bit divided on their attitude to the Jewish community.
I don't know why the fucking volume is ass, but they're blaming the far right.
These days in the UK.
Right, the far right.
Certainly the Jewish community has felt that they were at risk from multiple directions, some from the extremist Islamist direction, but also some from the kind of neo-Nazi on the far right. So
yeah, far right neo-Nazi. Yep, an immigrant named Jihad is a maybe far-right neo-Nazi. They did the same thing when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They did the same thing when the church was shot. They do the same thing every single time. They only have one move: obfuscate and lie, and they do it constantly. Look at this far-right Islamic terrorist suicide bomber. What are we even talking about? Are you crazy? The far-right would not have this guy in the country. And the media has actually been... Wait, this is not the one that I actually wanted. Hold up, I went out of order. I had another one from the BBC saying another retard shit. Nope! Where are you? No! I lost it in the tabs. It's gone. I lost it in the tabs. All right, we'll get back there. But anyway, they blame it on the far right, obviously. So anyway, some right-wing people are actually finally talking about how ridiculous their country is, because they're waking up.
Just breaking news for the Prime Minister said that additional police assets will be deployed at synagogues across the country after that suspected terror attack at a synagogue in Manchester. Speaking as he flew back to the UK from a summit in Denmark to chair an emergency COPA meeting, he says, "We will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe." I've got to be honest with you, Prime Minister, I don't think you have done enough to keep our Jewish community safe. I think we really allow these pro-Palestinian marchers on the streets, and yeah, the last government did too. I think there was a point when they were supportive of the Palestinian people and people in Gaza. They're just pro-Hamas marchers. A lot of the people who organise them are very, very closely linked with the Hamas terrorists who launched the attack on October the 7th and still hold hostages right now, starved and beaten and tortured in tunnels under Gaza City and elsewhere. When so little's done, when pro-Palestinian activists are able to, freely basically set off fireworks and act with impunity on our streets, as they did in London only last night. If you look at my social feed, you'll see I've just retweeted some images of that. Not a police officer inside. When a Jewish man, Gideon Folter, is told off for walking along with his petrol marches against the route of traffic and being told he has to leave because he's openly Jewish.
Yeah, what the hell?
When do we go to schools that are Jewish schools are told, don't wear your blazer. We don't want anyone to know you're Jewish. When every synagogue in this country has to have a guard outside, more than one guard outside, because of the fear of attacks. When people are routinely being harassed in the street, on social media, in public, on public transport. Sorry, it's too late. It's too late, Prime Minister. And when you recognise a Palestinian state, the cause that has been used to justify so much of the, not anti-Zionism, not pro-Palestinian, not Israel, but anti-Semitic views and opinions and attacks on our streets. You gave them succor. You basically said, carry on, we'll give you the reward. That's what you did. This is on you.
Bro.
This is on you, Prime Minister. So don't you bloody dare say we'll put police outside synagogues. You're one of the reasons why there need to be police outside synagogues. Yeah. Don't you bloody dare say you want to keep the Jewish community safe in this country when you're part of the reason of why they are not.
Straight facts. Straight facts! Karen fighting for justice. It's rare, but it happens. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this clip, there are multiple reasons. All right, first of all, they're probably going to arrest this lady for being Islamophobic. Second of all, I believe in the right to protest. If you want to protest for Palestine, that's fine. You should not be breaking a single law if you're protesting. If you're protesting and shooting fireworks and lighting shit on fire and attacking police officers and closing down roads, you should go to jail. Also, if you are literally marching or fighting in support of designated terrorist organizations like Hamas, you should not be in this country. And third, you are literally bringing in immigrants that are fighting for this shit. Like, dude, you are inviting... Like, if England would have been like this 1,000 years ago, Western civilization would be dead. they would invite the Viking pillagers into their nations. Okay? Dude, Christianity was based as fuck when they killed the Vikings. I'm sorry, they were. Okay, I'll be real. They absolutely were. They weren't like, turn the other cheek as you rape and pillage our villages. No, that's not how it works, bro. So anyway, she was absolutely correct and she was cooking. Now, again, the perspective that a lot of people are going to have, okay? The perspective that a lot of people are actually going to have are, I don't know why we're mentioning Israel-Palestine when there's a terrorist attack in England, but it turns out it really is kind of linked. It is kind of linked when there is a religious war going on the West. Sort of, yeah. Now, to be honest, again, I said this before, none of these people protesting for Palestine actually care about Palestine. The white people, I mean. They don't actually care. Otherwise, they would be protesting for anybody else. Didn't kill the Vikings. The Vikings converted. Yeah, some of them were killed, some of them converted. It was pretty based, honestly. So anyway, the craziest thing is, it's not just a war that's happening at the other end of the world. The craziest thing is, the white people don't understand, or at least the white Karen liberal people, those people don't get that there's so much death around the world that they don't even know about or talk about. The fact that 100,000 Christians were murdered in Nigeria is just like, they didn't even hear of that. 400,000 people in Yemen, they don't care. 650,000 people in Syria, not relevant. 5.5 million people killed in the Congo. They didn't even know that 5.5 million people were killed in the Congo. But they're so busy talking about Palestine. A war that, by the way, let's not mince words, was started by Hamas, the elected government of Gaza. So, anyway, Tommy Robinson, based as fuck, I love this guy. He tweeted, "Don't you dare come out acting like you give a fuck about the Jewish community, at UK Labour, at Keir Starmer, at Mahmoud. You chose the sides of the jihadists." And yeah, he's right. He's correct. He's just completely correct. He is completely right. There was no lie detected. Now, I wanted to show this to you because it's not like this is just one little instance of an attack on Jews that happened at some point one time because of one crazy radical guy. Okay, this was a successful one. Most of them get stopped before murder happens, thank God. So, here's what Jews around the world faced this week. In Argentina, students from the Escuela Humanos chanted, "Today we burn the Jews," during their senior graduation trip. In Thailand, customer at a Turkish restaurant harassed a group of Israelis, hurling insults, calling them big-nosed bitches. In France, Jewish man wearing a kippah was violently beaten in the street on Shabbat. His attacker shouted, "Dirty Jew, we're going to kill you," before assaulting him. In Turkey, Orthodox Jews shoved and humiliated at the Istanbul airport as bystanders applauded. In the UK, anti-Semitic doctor avoided suspension and was allowed to keep treating patients. Barbie Gaza, Greta Thunberg's friend, claimed that women raped and murdered on October 7th was a hoax. Hamas treated them well. Right. Italy, Israel Premier Tech, a cycling team, was excluded from some event because of safety reasons. In Australia, 66-year-old Jewish man attacked on a train by two assailants, including a 16-year-old who threatened him with a knife while shouting anti-Semitic slurs. In Germany, 24-year-old Jewish man wearing a Star of David necklace was assaulted on a train. The attacker tried to drag him off and kicked him repeatedly. In France, Franco-Iranian man car was completely vandalized with anti-Semitic graffiti because he left a small Israeli flag inside. England, Jewish-Israeli DJ Roy Perez was canceled from an event because of his background. No one cared that he had raised money for Palestinians and created safe spaces where Israeli and Palestinians could dance together. That was irrelevant. Online, a kick streamer told 145,000 followers, "Kill all the Jews." I showed that in a previous video. And it just keeps going. It just keep going. I can keep scrolling forever. I could literally keep scrolling forever. This all happened in the last 1 week. All right, in the last 1 week. So these two Jews that were murdered, this was just a really successful guy named Mr. Jihad. The rest of these were not as successful. But this is very obviously a war on the West because, to be honest, the West is completely run by radical, gaytheist fucks that are opening their doors to evil. Breaking news, UK's counter-terrorism police named Manchester synagogue attacker as Mr. Jihad al-Shami, a 35-year-old UK citizen of Syrian descent. Let it sink in. This dude was in the United Kingdom for 14 years. And he didn't assimilate. Get that clear. For the record, Jihad al-Shami is a direct translation to jihad is a violent resistance, the Syrian. That's his name. Al-Shami means the Syrian. His name is Violent Resistance the Syrian, and they made him a citizen. What? Like, this is suicidal empathy to the most insane way ever. I've never seen suicidal empathy. This is absolutely insane. This is crazy. This guy who they called far right, strapped with explosives. This guy, they called him far right, dude. The media called him far right. Is this not insane? I'm really afraid that this will start making Islamophobia happen. I'm really afraid that people are going to start getting Islamophobic after something like this. So Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, made this statement. Israel grieves with the Jewish community in the UK after the barbaric terror attack in Manchester. Our hearts are with the families of the murdered, and we pray for the swift recovery of the wounded. As I warned at the UN, weakness in the face of terrorism only brings more terrorism. Only strength and unity can defeat it. And honestly, he's not wrong. Jackson Hinkle, he is an American leftist journalist. Get ready. Mossad must have been upset the UK recognized Palestinian statehood, implying that Israel got Mr. Jihad, a Syrian immigrant, to murder their own people. He tricked him to kill some Jews, to make a false flag. This is the rotted brain, the rotted leftoid mind. All right, so Jackson Hinkle is saying, yeah, no, it was definitely a false flag. Definitely Israel tricked a guy to murder some Jews to make people feel bad for Israel or something. I'll be real. One thing I have to say about Israel, I think that a lot of Western nations need to understand that Israel is a Jewish nationalist state, and we got to bring Christian nationalism back to the West. I'm sorry, I really think so. I really think that the only way to defeat this is by turning to God instead of running from him. That's my incredible hot take for everybody. Anyway, it gets even wilder. This story is insane. So Israel and the UK, the embassy made a statement, obviously saying it's very bad, because of course it's very bad. Thoughts and prayers. Dude, what could you say at this point? It's truly a nightmare. Truly a nightmare, dude. So Congressman Brandon Gill, this is an American congressman. He's cooking. He's from Texas. Dude, Texas is amazing. I love Texas. When you import terrorists, you get terrorist attacks. For the survival of Western civilization, we have to wake up. And he's right. He's like, yo, they are literally screaming at us that this is what they want to happen. They are telling us they want this. All of the people in America that are fighting for immigration, they want this too. Every time there's an attack against Christians, they blame it on MAGA. They can't even get to the heart of, the actual situation. Charlie Kirk killed, maybe it was MAGA. A transgender freak murders some kids at a Catholic school, well, maybe it was a white nationalist. It wasn't a white nationalist. I don't know a lot of white nationalist transgenders that are out there writing fuck Trump on bullets, okay? It just doesn't happen. Dude, wake the hell up, dude. There's a war. It is a spiritual war. Now, this is the response. This is the response. Asmongold, for the record, watched this clip, but didn't understand the Arabic. Yeah, so they're screaming Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yehud, which is Arabic for behead the Jew. So they're remember, this is in England. This is not Palestine, all right? This is England. So you have to remember, if you're visibly Jewish, they'll arrest you. But if you march down the street waving foreign flags, yelling, behead the Jews, they will arrest Jews for looking too Jewish next to you. Are we on the same page? Okay. All right. I'm really glad where people are waking up, hopefully. So anyway, this was, these are people, I think they're in an airport or a train station. And this was right after the news. Right, so this is right after the news of the stabbing. This wasn't an organized thing. This was immediately after the stabbing happened. This breaks out in the train station. It's almost like there's a connection between freeing Palestine across the world and murdering Jews in England. It's kind of weird that why do they see a connection here? I thought Israel and Jews, they weren't connected. I thought Zionism and Judaism are different things. That's so weird. It's so weird. It's so odd. It's so interesting. It's so difficult to comprehend. I mean, they're just chanting about some movement across the world, right? This has nothing to do with the Jews that were just murdered a few minutes before this protest, right? Except it was. Absolutely. All the liberal Karen movement needs to die. The liberal Karen movement needs to go. I'm sorry. These people are trying their absolute best. Here's a statement from a random Jewish guy. I don't think this is even a religious guy. He just happened to go to... Oh, he follows me. Hell yeah. I don't know who this is. Exposing Wikipedia crisis based. Anyway, so this morning, as I sat in the London synagogue for Yom Kippur services, because, dude, Yom Kippur, it's when everyone goes. Even, not religious Jews go to the synagogue on Yom Kippur. A friend sitting next to me said, I reckon Jews have about 10 years left in this country. I said I disagreed. It's not as bad as it seems. Right. About 20 minutes later, the service was suddenly interrupted. A synagogue security official went up to the bima, that's the platform in the center, and said there had been a major incident in the north, and they were locking down the synagogue. There was a buzz of fear. Children's services were canceled. We were not to leave. My friend looked at me. He said, you see what I mean? 10 years. In 2025, 2 Jews were murdered for the crime of praying in a synagogue in Britain. Truth is, I don't know a single Jewish family in London who doesn't speak openly and often about leaving. These are dyed-in-the-wool Brits who love this country, but they are watching England they know disintegrate around them. It's so sad, man. British Jews lost the right to security and safety. The response by the authorities to this attack is to pledge more security at Jewish schools and synagogues. Great. They're just restating the problem. Why should Jewish kids go to school in London or Manchester under a phalanx of security guards? Why do synagogues need a rotation of specially trained security guards at every event? For what it's worth, not a single police officer showed up at the synagogue after the attack on Manchester. I guess they were busy. Jewish parents who pass by secular, non-Jewish parochial schools might gaze in wonder, perhaps envy, at the sight of children entering the schools without 6 or 7 men in stab vests standing guard. And Keir Starmer comes out with his valiant statement, "We will defeat anti-Semitism." No, they will tolerate it. They will ally with it, reward it. Like, dude, this is how people feel. And, I mean, look, it says, you know what Hamas's statement was? First we kill the Jews, then we kill the Christians. I believe it. I believe that's the plan, personally. I believe that's what they want to say. Now, just here's some stats for you, because statistics are racist according to the left, but I'm not the left. Here's some stats. UK Muslims are 6.5% of the population. All right, get the number into here. They're 6.5%. They are 97% of terror attacks since 2000, 90% of the MI5's terror watch list, 75% of terror threats, 84% of child gang rapes, 18% of prisoners. So they're overrepresented in prison by 3 times, despite the fact that they're actually committing over 10 times the amount of rape, for example. 6,000 as a year, 1.5 birth defect rate. You know, because they marry their cousins. 48.6% of 16 to 64-year-olds not employed. 27% in social housing. Congratulations, everyone in England. You are paying for this invasion of your nation. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Really glad we're understanding the reality here. Now, this is insane. I don't even know what's going on. So this is the bomb vest, or at least the alleged bomb vest after this all happened. And you know what happens? You'll never guess. You'll never guess. You will never guess what happens. Okay? You'll never guess what happens. Here's a backpack lying on the ground. It was quarantined, right? There's no one around it because they're afraid it might have explosives. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? There's the bomb squad over here. They're all ready. The bomb squad is ready to go. Guess. You won't guess. A homeless man tries to rob the bag. Tries to see if there's anything valuable there. Nobody except my clique. Yeah. You cannot even make this up, man. That's how fucked England is, bro. That's how fucked it is, man. And he's like, "Oh, damn it, no bomb. Nothing." We tackle the shit out of it. Okay. Anyway, it's just actual cinema, dude. That's just amazing. What are we doing here? Oh my god. So anyway, Keir Starmer, once again, far right is a real threat. This was just like a week ago. The far right doesn't drive into crowds. The far right doesn't knife innocent people. The far right doesn't blow up pop concerts. The far right doesn't gang rape white girls. The far right aren't 90% of the MI5's terror watch list. This imaginary far right doesn't exist. True. No lies. Absolutely true. No lies detected, man. None. Not a single lie. Dude, and the media runs defense for these guys because they know that if the actual stats get out and this actual conversation gets had, they lose everything. They lose everything if people start having this conversation. Anyway, this is tonight. Right, so this is right after the stabbing happens in England. Let's see what they were doing on Liverpool Street. All right, this is one of the main streets in England. I'm sure that they have good things to say. I'm sure that they fight the good fight here. I wonder what they do. I don't know why it's loading, but we're getting there. Hello? Bro, they do not want me to see what's happening in England. We're getting there. Dude. Alright, so you're probably thinking they're probably fundraising for the victims. Occupation no more, guys. Occupation no more. Remember, occupation no more. That's what they're chanting in response to a murder. That's right, in response to a murder of 2 Jews. Occupation no more, they say. Stop the occupation. Now remember, they think that England is an occupation. They think America is an occupation. They think Israel is an occupation. It's almost like it's a war against the West or something. It's literally almost like it's a war against the West. Or something. Like, you have to understand. Millions of, immigrants coming to England, not an occupation. Jews living in their ancestral homeland, an occupation. Are we on the same page? I'm really glad we're on the same page. This is wild, man. Bro, this is insane. This is crazy. How is this possibly a response? How is this possibly a response to a terrorist attack? Occupation no more. Unreal. Now, again, you have to understand this is in response to Trump offering a deal. Trump is like, "Yo, let's make a deal and stop the war that's killing Palestinians." All right, stop the war. You ready? Stop the war. You know what the response is? Don't stop the war. We want more Palestinians to die because you have to stop the occupation completely. That's right. They do not care about the Palestinians. They are Virtue Signal Incorporated. UK prosecutes synagogue for provoking attacker being openly Jewish, which is a parody article, but like barely. It's like barely a parody at this point. Literally barely a parody. Now, I saw this tweet. This tweet went very viral, so I wanted to say it because this was crazy. There are less than 300,000 Jewish people in Britain. They have never forced us to eat kosher food. They have never insisted their religion is the only one. They never demanded we practice it. On the whole, they have blended into society here so well that unless they disclose their religion, you wouldn't even know that they were Jewish. Jewish people living here generally have nothing to do with Israeli politics in Israel. The only time you see a Jewish person ask for comment on TV is usually after an attack on their community. I've never once felt intimidated or threatened by any Jews. We just rub along very well. I have no fears they're growing their presence in politics or threatening my rights to live as I do. Peace is on the cards over in the Middle East. Some people are ideologically driven to avoid peace. Sadly, they get a lot of support and publicity. This went very viral, and I think, I mean, obviously I'm Jewish, so I don't actually have that, I don't have the perspective where I could comment on this, but, like, from my perspective, I'm not out here trying my best to convince people to convert to Judaism or die. Like, you know, I'm really not into that at all. I'm really not into that whatsoever. From my perspective, okay, this is just me. I don't know if everyone thinks this way. I'm sure some do, some don't. But my perspective is, I am a man fighting for God, doing my best every day. I love my country. And your average Christian guy is a man fighting for God every day, trying his best, and loves his country. So from my perspective, I've always loved my my Christian bros and sisses. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like a very major affiliation with Christians. You know, because essentially, I mean, we have different perspectives on certain things. I think that obviously my perspective is more right. You think your perspective is more right. That's fine. We're two people fighting for God. That's all. I'm the same one. Same God. That's always been my perspective. So yeah, obviously we're gonna have different nuances. And you know what? At some point, it'll be the end times, and we'll see who's actually right. But realistically, we're fighting on the same team. That's how I always saw it. Anyway. This is Bushra Shaikh. She is a political member of England and also a journalist and a social political commentator. Big English lady. Everyone knows her. Everyone loves her. Horrified to learn of the attack at the synagogue in Manchester where 4 have been injured. My thoughts are with those affected by this criminal act. We have yet to learn the motivations behind this crime. We have left. What could the motivations be of Mr. Jihad? I don't know. But I blame Netanyahu and his genocide. Can't even make this up, man. They cry victim as they strike you. It's crazy. It's insane. Why do I have to live like this, man? This is exactly what they did to Charlie Kirk. They killed Charlie Kirk and they said it was his fault for spreading hate. This is exactly what they did. Every time there's an attack on a church or a synagogue, it's your fault because you spread hate. Because you are a religion that's related to a guy in the Middle East that's doing something that we don't like. Do you understand how insane this is? Blaming Jews for a terrorist attack on Jews? Like, dude, what are we even doing? How do we get here? Now, you probably think Mrs. Bushra Shaikh obviously changed her tune. Well, this is her tweet on October 7th. Understand, this is a tweet that went out while Hamas invaded Israel and murdered 1,200 people and videoed themselves murdering and raping people. Palestinians have done more in 5 minutes than Zelensky has done with $75 billion. Humiliation is an understatement. Celebrating the brave Palestinian fighters that went and raped and murdered random Jews. Now, in my opinion, there are a couple of ways to understand if someone's a retard. My favorite way is going to their Twitter and seeing what they tweeted on specific dates. So when it comes to like someone talking about Jews and Israel and stuff, always look at what they said on October 7th, 2023. When someone's talking about Christians and stuff, or America, or politics, or violence, you know what you gotta do? Yeah, there's the new test. You look at what people are saying on September 10th, 2025, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's literally that simple. There are a couple of inflection points in history where good versus evil becomes really, really obvious. And you just go back to those timestamps and you see what the fuck they were saying when good versus evil was at its most obvious. So anyway, Bushra Shaikh over here had that to say on October 7th. Basically, shout out to the Palestinians for killing lots of Jews and started this war. Like, you have to understand, this war started because of October 7th. She supports the death of all the Palestinians in Gaza. I'm done pulling punches. I'm done with the fucking fake bullshit, garbage, retard situation. It's over. She supports the death of all the Palestinians in Gaza because that people are dying because of Hamas starting this war. So she supports those deaths for her political random bullshit across the world. So anyway, this is her dropping a doubling down situation. This is Mrs. Bushra Shaikh herself doubling down. She made a video to explain because she got backlash.
I am absolutely livid right now. I'm livid right now, and I'm going to make this video because I need to do it. I have to get this off my chest because I've just It's been months and months and months and months and months, and for some reason we can't call things out as they are. A horrific attack has taken place outside the synagogue in Manchester, where at least 2 people have been killed. And
these people are all liars, because they'll shout globalize the Intifada, death to the Jews, and then the Jews die and they're like, what? It's horrific and horrible.
A few others have been injured, and there is zero space for anybody not to condemn this atrocity. This itself isn't even a debate. Everybody has to call this out. There is no space for Islamophobia, anti-anything.
Bitch, a Muslim stabs 2 Jews and she's like, we have to call this out. We can't have Islamophobia. Like, what? What? These people want to conquer your nation and they will scream Islamophobia when they do it. No, of course, it's not all Muslims, but it's the radicals.
Anti-Semitism, whatever it is, there is no space for hatred and violence. Everybody should be condemning this in the utmost and calling it what it is, which is a horrific, grotesque attack.
All right, so whose
what
fault
the
is
hell is actually happening to our country? Is it partly because our government, our leaders are refusing to acknowledge what it is that is causing this spike in these hate crimes? Because
what's the spike in crimes being committed by radical Muslims in England? Could it be the radical Muslims? Well, let's keep watching.
That's what they are. That if it's a targeted group of people in their religious place, which they should be able to be safe without being killed and attacked, that this is a rise of hate crime in general. There is a direct link. There is a direct link.
True. There is a direct link between the importation of billions of millions of Muslims and then millions of extra radical Muslims start doing hate crimes. So yeah, you make a good point.
With geopolitical issues and the rise of hate in other countries, I blame this on Benjamin Netanyahu.
That's right. Benjamin Netanyahu is the guy that stabbed the 2 Jews in the synagogue in Britain, according to Mrs. Scheich over here. This is insane. Like, bro, there's a Jew in the Middle East that we don't like, and therefore jihadis murdering people in England is kind of not our fault. It's kind of his fault. Dude, this is insane. This is crazy. Imagine needing to live through this. Dude, a hate crime is her having the right to vote. That's a hate crime. So this is a tweet from a doctor in the UK. This was yesterday. I am a Muslim. Daily I treat Jews, and I have taken a hypocritical oath that outlines my responsibilities in the Buckingham crew. However, I must admit that if I had the power, I would vanish every Jew. This is a doctor in the United Kingdom. Comfortable enough to tweet this online, okay? All right, if you post a meme online, you go to jail in the UK. You go to jail. He hates that he took an oath to save people's lives because he would really like to kill the Jews. This is a doctor in England. A doctor in England tweeting this when they're arresting people for... He wasn't arrested. He didn't lose his license. What is going on? What is happening? Anyway, it gets worse. So yeah, I wanted to cover this really properly. So this is hours after the terrorist attack, obviously. Here. This is celebrating, by the way. All right. Now, a lot of people think that no, this is just no, it's not random. This is celebrating the murder of 2 Jews in a synagogue in England. So anyway, that's the response. Celebration of the murder of a couple of Jews. I guess you did your job. I mean, they said they wanted to kill the Jews and they did, so I guess we could respect that. Turning Point UK. Charlie's left behind such a powerful legacy. They brand all conservatives as Nazis and Charlie Kirk gets shot. They blame all Jews for the world's problem and innocent people are murdered in a synagogue. We know the left openly drums up violence against their political enemies. Will the authorities do anything? Yeah, they will. They'll start arresting people for being openly Jewish, I guess. I guess that's one way to do it. Is it worse than the Charlie Kirk celebrations? I think it's pretty even. It's the same thing. It's just celebrating the murder of innocent people who are, there for God. Like, they killed them at a synagogue. They didn't kill them at a fucking poker game, all right? Obviously, it's a war on God. There's a synagogue at the end of my road. Dozens of Jews are currently being escorted in by security. 4 police officers are keeping watch. How has it come to this in Britain? So I visited Europe a couple of months ago. I went to Italy, to Rome. And I remember, in order to get into a synagogue, you need to show your passport. You need to give them your passport number in advance so that the security guard at the front can have you show your passport, and it needs to line your passport number that you told them in advance for them to let you go in and pray on Saturday. Like, that's just life, I guess, in Europe. Like, it's crazy. That's insane. That makes no sense. It's crazy, dude. So anyway, this is a young Jewish kid that was, he's just crying. He just watched 2 people that he knew from the synagogue get murdered, like, in front of him. It's crazy that we need to live like this. We don't need to live like this. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking watching this, man. This is just a kid who went to services on the holy day of the year, right? And he watches 2 people that he probably knows just get Literally murdered. It's insane. We don't need to live like this. We don't. And this is everywhere. This afternoon, the Prime Minister said he would do everything to keep the Jews safe. This evening, thousands of people are literally roaming the streets chanting about killing Jews and eradicating the only Jewish state. Sounds about right. We need extra security, I guess. You recently rewarded savages who murdered, raped, and tortured Jews. Don't bother, just resign. Ratioed as fuck. True, by the way. I saw the clip also. I'm not showing that, obviously. Alleged mass stabbing at a synagogue in Manchester. This is what years of globalize the Intifada chants result in. Because obviously, no one's surprised. That's the craziest part. Anyone that's actually real isn't surprised. Starmer recognized Hamas as the rulers of Gaza. He allowed countless pro-Hamas marches in London, and now he says he will fight anti-Jewish hatred. He's a pathetic, ghastly, cowardly man. We will not forget. True. Unpopular opinion, says Paul Joseph Watson. People literally named jihad should not be given British passports. No shit! Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy, dude. Tommy Robinson tweets, these wankers remain silent of the jihad in Nigeria. No votes to gain speaking about it. No Jews, no news. Right, so 100,000 Nigerian Christians actually getting genocided. The Free Palestine March of people that are losing a war that they started, and tragically and horrifyingly 60,000 people were killed. Is really sad. But what's going on, guys? What's going on? Both sides are violent, right? It's both sides. Both sides. This was Netanyahu's statement. As I warned, the UN weakness in the state of terrorism only brings more terrorism. Only strength and unity can defeat it, whatever. Yeah, he's been saying that for a while. True. Anyway, this is Shabana Mahmoud. She is a Secretary of State or something of England. I don't know. I don't never fucking understand English politics. But Miss Mahmoud over here has something to say about what's going on.
Horrified by the anti-Semitic terrorist attack at a synagogue on the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. My prayers are with the victims and the families of all of those who were murdered here today. I want to thank the police and all of the emergency services.
Anyway, she is super on board with all the Palestine marches, with all the pro-Hamas shit. And she supports all of that.
For the speed of their response and also for their considerable bravery. The government has stepped up security at synagogues across the whole of the country, and we will do whatever is required to keep our Jewish community safe.
Right.
I know that
while supporting all of the terrorists, she also is going to do her best to keep them safe.
There are many questions that are still to be answered, and rest assured they will be answered as quickly as possible. It will just take a little time for us to establish exactly what has happened here, but we will share more information as soon as we are able to. What I do want to say is to those who seek to divide us, they will fail. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think we should divide you. I think that there's some people that need to be removed immediately from power and from the country. And for the sake of the country, this is the only thing you could absolutely do. The only thing you could do. Now, by the way, if you want to know how captured as a nation we actually are, and how obviously we are being propagandized, this is what the BBC said when they covered this attack. You're not ready. Or Sky News, rather. You are not ready for how they describe this attack at a synagogue. Listen to the words that they say and prepare to freak the fuck out.
The holiest day, as you say, in the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur, and a lot of people would have been worshipping at that mosque at the time.
At that mosque. Lots of people worshipping at that mosque at the time.
I haven't been able to speak to anyone directly, but looking around, there's a lot of extremely concerned people around here. Obviously, worshippers from the mosque. There are crowds.
Worshippers from the mosque.
On the street, just outside this caution.
She said it twice. Because England is an occupied, conquered nation. Because it's a conquered nation. No, this wasn't actually a mosque, Mrs. Journalist. Actually, it wasn't a mosque. And if you want to know how complicit the BBC is in this shit, and how obviously they knew about this, this is the state propaganda that you don't actually see without Twitter. Without Twitter, no one would know this was a real thing. Look at how they actually show the video, and then look at the actual translation to the video, because it is absolutely mind-blowingly evil. Get ready for this.
بس أكدت لنا هاي الفيديوهات إنه هو ما كانش متخبي تحت الأرض، إنه بالعكس هو بقاوم بجاهد ضد اليهود.
Right, so she said they are actively fighting and resisting the Israeli forces. Right, that's the translation according to the BBC. Let's see what she actually said.
بس أكدت لنا هاي الفيديوهات إنه هو ما كانش متخبي تحت، إنه بالعكس هو بجاهد ضد اليهود.
Jihad against the Yahud means a jihad against the Jews. It doesn't mean resisting Israeli forces. But the BBC, British broadcasting cock has to twist literally everything. Everything needs to be twisted. It's all propaganda. It's all a game. And it's so bad. It is so bad. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. All right, so anyway, this is the response. This is not normal. The response to the murder of 2 Jews, celebration from the pro-Palestine people, which are totally not anti-Semitic. They're just anti-Israel, obviously. So Zara Sultana, another, British Muslim person in the government, says, I am shocked and appalled by the attack at the synagogue in Manchester. Holiest day, Jewish community, thoughts of the victims. You fueled it, you dumb hate-filled bitch, says Tommy Robinson, who was once again literally on point. It's almost like it is a war for the Western nations or something. So this is Shabana Mahmoud. I showed her to you before, horrified by the attack, blah, 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 blah. This is also her. Pretty weird how that keeps happening. Hates Jews, Christians, atheists, gays, dog, bacon, wine, beer, your civilization, your culture, your traditions, your country, and you. Complains about Islamophobia. True! Yeah, it's kind of weird how this keeps happening. It's kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of weird. Want to know why the Manchester attack happened? The authorities allowed Jew hate to run rampant. This is yesterday. Shooting fireworks. That's so weird. I can't believe it. I am literally surprised. Coming soon to the U.S. as well, thanks to some lazy attitudes towards rising radical Islamic terror attacks. I hope not, but who knows? The next few years are going to be a deciding point for the West, in Europe, but also in the United States. So this is the Israel advocacy movement. This is just basically a British, Jewish, Israeli guy that moved to Israel. He says, I'm a British Jew. I left the UK last year and I fear for my family's safety. Today, my worst fears were confirmed. The writing was on the wall. When Muslim thugs drove through our neighborhood screaming they were going to rape our daughters, no one was jailed. True, by the way. Asmongold reacted to this and was like, they're chanting rape their daughters? Like, even Asmongold was like, what? No. He couldn't even believe it. But yeah, just something you get used to or something. When a Muslim thug tried to stab Jews at our kosher supermarket, he wasn't jailed! Wow, it's almost like this week on crime culture that the leftoid retards, anti-God heathens are pushing across the West are actually fucking everyone over. When the British streets are flooding by mobs screaming globalize the Intifada, the Home Secretary joins them! That's that Mahmoud lady I showed you. Mrs. Mahmoud joined the globalize the Intifada chant. Well, the Intifada was just globalized. Hope you're happy. Meanwhile, Jews were told to leave because our presence was provocative. The British government and police have Jewish blood on their hands. So my friends and family, leave while you still can. A lot of people are saying this because a lot of people are actually noticing it. That, Jews aren't actually kind of safe there. I don't want to say Europe has fallen because there's still hope. But you don't want to be there when it's too late. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. Look, I have faith. Dude, Christianity needs to make a big comeback. You need to fight for God. We need to fight for God. This is what happens when you recognize a terrorist state, you coward. Keir Starmer. Starmer did this. This is the poor guy that was stabbed. It's a nightmare. What's it like living in the UK? I can't complain. That's good. No, I literally can't complain. I might go to jail. Yeah. Yup. England. So, looks like Gaza-related far-left violence is taking place against the police this evening. I look forward to another podium speech from the Prime Minister, as well as condemnation from the Labour Front Beach and Sadiq Khan. This is literally pro-Palestine people celebrating the murder of a couple of Jews, fighting police and not getting arrested. He was detained, but they'll release him, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, they'll release him. I'm sure you're probably worried for his safety. Don't worry, they'll release him. They will, yep. What are the police doing there? What are the police doing here? What are the police doing everywhere? Why are we releasing these people? This was Bob Villan 2 weeks ago in Amsterdam. Well, let's see what he had to say.
Fuck the Zionists. Get out there and fight them. Get out there and meet them in the street. Get out there and let them know that you do not fucking stand by them. Do you understand me?
Get out them and fight them and beat them in the streets, says a singer in England. Kind of crazy how this happens. Welcome to the left, baby. Welcome to the left. He was born in Syria. We gave him a passport in 2006. He's Syrian. We imported the jihadi called jihad. And he did not integrate in the last 19 years, that's for sure. He didn't integrate. No, sir. So, Bill Maher gave this little speech. He's a liberal, by the way. He's a leftist. And even he's like, wait, what the fuck? He's like an atheist, too. So, I wanted to see what his perspective was.
Stop booing me for pointing out that Islam is not like other religions. There are illiberal beliefs that are held by vast numbers of Muslim people that I don't think...
Vast number of Christians, too.
No, that's not true.
Everyone does this. Why are you against radical Islam when you should be against radical Jews and radical Christians? Well, it's because the radical Jews and Christians aren't killing people for not following their religion. The radical Jews and Christians just celebrate their holidays and stuff. Like, come on. You know what a radical Christian is? A radical Christian is gonna tap on your shoulder and say, hey, would you like to come to church this Sunday? That's a radical Christian. A radical Christian will invite you to church. A radical Islam will kill you for not being a Muslim.
True. Vast numbers of Christians do not believe that if you leave the Christian religion, you should be killed for it. Vast numbers of Christians do not treat women as second-class citizens. Vast numbers of Christians
I agree with that.
do not believe that if you draw a picture of Jesus Christ, you should get killed for it. There's a Pew poll of Egypt done a few years ago. 82%, I think it was, said stoning is the appropriate punishment for adultery.
Yeah, they're not wrong about everything.
Over 80% thought death was the appropriate punishment for leaving the Muslim religion.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
I'm sure you know these things.
I know. Well,
everyone knows these things. Everyone's just too scared to say them out loud.
But this religion is like other religions is just naive and plain wrong. It is not like other religions. The New York Times.
Yeah, neither Jews nor Christians actually have combined have perpetrated 47,000 terror attacks since 9/11. Nope, only one group did that.
New York Times pointed out in an op-ed a couple of weeks ago that in Saudi Arabia, just since August 4th, I think it was, they have beheaded 19 people, most for non-violent crimes, including homosexuality.
Those didn't got the hands off the thief.
Case for Gaza, baby.
Right. Okay.
And the guy's like, no, they only cut their hands off. Good defense. I saw Asmongold saying, why is it that people in like Muslim nations know what they're dealing with and they can deal with this shit? Because they execute them? Because they don't give them a free pass and let them out of jail when they rape women?
So we're upset that ISIS is beheading people, which we should be upset about. But Saudi Arabia does it, and they're our good friends because they have oil, okay? But they do it too. This is the center of the religion. In Mecca, where infidels, non-Muslims, are not even allowed in the holy parts of the city. I mean, okay, they do behead.
That sounds like an apartheid. They don't let non-Muslims in certain parts of the city? Damn, that's an apartheid state.
People. Now, if they were beheading people in Vatican City, which is the equivalent of Mecca, don't you think there'd be a
or
big...
in Jerusalem, the Jews were doing that, and, in front of the Western Wall, the big wall that all the presidents go and touch. And if they would bring people there and execute, I don't know. I feel like that would be pretty bad. I'll be real. I'm not for that.
Your outcry about it. So this is the soft bigotry of low expectations that we have with Muslim people.
Yeah, so he absolutely cooked, and he's correct. Now, this just happened on Joe Rogan, apparently, and I thought it was pretty hilarious because people don't understand how conquered England is. I'm going to show you how conquered England is. All right, so this is going to be the final part of this video. I wanted to do a deep dive here on the West and the war on the West. And the reason why I did is because, honestly, because I watched Asmongold's video. And Asmongold, he's right about basically everything on an individual basis, but he really didn't, he didn't tie it together. He didn't tie it together. He's like, this is just, a radical religious guy who did a terrible thing, and it's horrible, and he's correct. But I feel like so many people aren't willing to take that extra step and put their finger on the pulse of the fact that there is a war on the West, and it is this unholy conflict between the fucking communists and the radical jihadists that are working together because they hate you and they want you dead. They hate white people, they hate Jews, they hate Christians, they hate our civilization, they hate our country that is built on biblical values. That is what they hate. That is what they want to destroy. And people don't want to talk about it because, well, obviously they killed Charlie Kirk. So obviously it's not safe to talk about it.
I think a part of it was inbreeding.
This is your own theory.
No. Look it up.
Someone else.
It's like, that's your theory. No. So this is an old Joe Rogan clip? I don't know. I just saw this and I thought it was amazing.
It's an inbreeding, major problem.
I've never heard this before.
Especially with immigrants in Britain, like the Pakistanis in London. They'll have all kinds of serious inbreeding problems because that's an even smaller sample size you're dealing with.
For the record, Hassan Piker is inbred. Hassan Piker's uncle Cenk admitted that he is inbred, that his grandparents are first cousins.
Strap yourself in for this. 70% of all Pakistanis are inbred. And in Turkey, the amount is between 25 to 30%. More stillbirths among immigrants. A rough estimate reveals that close to half of everybody living in the Arab world is inbred. A large percentage of the parents, this is blowing my mind. So listen to the BBC investigation in Britain several years ago revealed that at least 55% of the Pakistani community in Britain was married to a first cousin. Holy shit. BBC's research also discovered that while British Pakistanis account for just 3.4% of all births in Britain, they accounted for 30% of all British children with recessive disorders.
That is 10 times the amount of births, right? 10 times the amount of genetic disorders.
And a higher rate of infant mortality. What in the fuck? Labour Party MP has called for a ban on first cousin marriage. Medical evidence shows that one of the negative consequences of inbreeding is a 100% increase in the risk of stillbirths.
Yeah,
wow.
That's a consequence.
That is insane.
I also read somewhere that a lot of the symptoms of inbred people are irrational rage.
Weird. weird.
Fanaticism, and they end up just describing ISIS.
Look at what it says here, that with the IQ points. It says findings on intelligence. Research shows that if one's parents are cousins, intelligence goes down 10 to 16 IQ points. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70, criterion for being retarded, in quotes, are they using that word? Increases 400% among children from cousin marriages. Let me say that again. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70 increases 400% amongst children from cousin marriages.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's where we're at.
And why don't we know this? Because people don't like.
These are the people that are conquering our country. It's literally inbreds, and people that think that there are different genders. Bro, what is happening? What is happening?
The truth.
Barbarians at the gates for real.
Phobia. They don't like being.
That's right. If you know statistics, you're Islamophobic. If you pay attention to crimes, that makes you racist. If you know violent statistics, it's bad. Now, you probably think that England is fighting against this, right? Because we're in a, we are in a civilized Western nation, right? Us in the West, I'm in America, they're in England. Civilized society, and they are probably saying, let's stop this, let's chill. Probably. But if you want absolute, verifiable, evidence that we are being conquered by retards, this is a newspaper article that was published last week in England by The Telegraph. First cousin marriages has benefits, says the NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. Tory MP, government official, says health services should stop taking the knee to damaging cultural practices. The media is laundering, whitewashing, and trying to normalize inbreeding. We're at war. You just don't know it yet. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.